Allow me to say, while I can see myself on camera, I have much better lighting right now. I do. I have much better lighting. I'm not in a cave. I'm in a semi-cave, but I'm not in a silly, strange recording booth with a bunch of phone behind me. I'm in a bedroom thing. But however, folks, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today here at this week's next episode. A little delayed, a little disheveled, audio a little on the dark side. My name is Kelly, right?
And I'm James Ernest, and we're here all week, the show that even William Shakespeare might have thought doesn't really need to go on.
Okay. So, folks, let's bring you up to speed is what happened before James does his conversation starters. Moving is hard.
Y'all in the middle of a move over there.
Well, when you hit a certain age, you realize you can't ask your friends anymore for help because we all hurt. Backs are bad, knees are bad, etc.
So you're going to feed me pizza to pay some college kids to move your furniture.
No, as a matter of fact, we just paid people to move our furniture. And
well, that cuts out the middleman, but where am I supposed to get my pizza?
You just come over for pizza. I don't need you to move anything. Good
All
Lord.
right. This deal is getting better all the time.
It's getting better all the time. As you get older, it gets better. But the idea behind it is when we hired this crew, it was 3 guys. We hired them to pack the night before because we knew we weren't going to make the deadline, of course. So they came in and they packed the rest of our crap. And it's just these 3 young guys. They're half our age. And I made sure I had sodas and food and snacks, etc. They packed, and they showed up at 8 o'clock the next morning and lifted heavy things into a truck and then unloaded heavy things into a home. And ta-da! We are here.
You're in a new place with boxes to unpack, and one of those boxes has your microphone in it.
One of the boxes has all of my studio set up. Well, I would say 4 boxes. There's studio blankets, there's studio foam, there's my monitor, there's my speakers, there's my computer, there's my desk, there is my microphone, my mic stand. So right now, as far as I do apologize to the listening audience, I thought that my plug-in microphone to my laptop would work, but it has not. So much like a Zoom call, I'm going to ask you, have you met those deadlines yet? Mike, Mark, where are you? Have you submitted those TPS sheets?
We are working really hard on those deadlines. They were very aggressive, and my team this week had a number of setbacks unrelated to their performance, but instead we will be delivering on those at a future date.
That's great.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Your mic was cutting out. What?
I said I had to kick a potential employer to the curb this week. I finally gave up on them.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah. Let's see. It was a freelance design job for a bunch of bros who don't know anything about games, and so they called me and like, tell me about games. And so I told them about games, and they're like, yeah, we don't think you're a good fit. Why don't you work for free for a while, and then we'll see if you're a good fit after that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I think you're right about that fit part. No, bye.
Wow. We thought you wanted the exposure. Isn't that why you do art?
I am at an age where you can easily die of exposure. Yeah. I would like some money.
Nope. Screw off. I hate mentality like that. James, let's get back into the groove. Do you have conversation starters for us
Well,
today?
Kelly, it's time for our opening segment, Conversation Starters, sponsored this week by Rekindle, the date night experts. Tonight's conversation starter comes from a web search for conversation starters for old people, which led us to companionsforseniors.com. Kelly, what was your first job?
How young do you want to go?
First.
I was a newspaper delivery person. I was 13 years old.
Are you chewing gum?
I'm eating a piece of chocolate. Thank you.
Folks? Well, clearly your first job wasn't in broadcasting.
Nope. I have a piece of chocolate on my desk and I ate it. Thank you so much.
I got a bag of chips here. Let me join in.
I'm comfortable here, so I'm eating some chocolate. Chocolate and a cup of tea, thank you,
The
because it's
first
close to
the
bedtime.
first thing where you got a paycheck, the first job where you walked in at a given time and did a given duty with pay.
I was hired to deliver the Detroit Free Press. So, what
From a
that
bicycle?
entailed, yes, as a matter of fact,
All right.
it was a route, it was a big route. It was a route that had 100 plus customers, and I had some crap 10-speed bike that tried to haul these bags over. And it came down to where my poor mother had to help me because my bike just broke down. And I was like, I can't carry 100 versions of the Sunday paper on my bike.
Yeah.
And especially in the winter in Michigan when there's snow all over the place. So Mom and I would load up her car like 5:30 in the morning and go deliver these papers. And it was in a place that we called the Cigarette Sub. And the reason why it was called the Cigarette Sub is because all the streets were named Newport, Virginia, Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were
There
Pall
was
Mall.
a street named Cool.
There were several streets named after major cigarettes. Winston, Parliament.
Virginia Slims.
Yeah, we called it the Cigarette Sub. So my
Oh, that's
my
great.
my route was the Cigarette Sub. So I delivered papers.
Well, I think you learned at a young age then that capitalism is all about externalizing costs. I bet with your time and your mother's time, you probably didn't really make any money doing that job.
Oh no, oh no. What was yours?
Well, Kelly, the very first job that I got paid for was as a juggler at Six Flags over Mid-America, which I have discussed on this podcast before. I and two other youths were paid a tiny amount of money to walk around in the sun, hide in the shade, and not perform very much until we all got fired. But we had very attractive matching outfits, blue shorts and striped white socks. And we got to ride our unicycles around the park, kind of as part of our job, which was fun,
Okay.
until they determined that we also were not bringing in what we were taking away.
So all y'all were perfecting the art of wage theft.
Man, we weren't trying, but we were not very good at being a team. That is the honest truth. And ever since then, I've found that I'm much luckier when I try to work all by myself.
So where is Six Flags over Mid-America? Where
It
is
is
that?
about 45 minutes west of St. Louis.
Oh, how long were you there?
I worked there for like a month. How long was I in St. Louis?
Yes, you worked there for a month, but how long were you there, like in the Midwest? How long
Oh
were you
well,
there?
I bounced all over the Midwest as a child. I settled in St. Louis in fifth grade and stayed there till I left for college in Rolla, Missouri. Janice and the Dozens, please tell us about your first job, and while you're at it, subscribe to this podcast on your favorite streaming service or smash that button on the YouTubes. Join our Baker's Dozen on Patreon for early access, random updates, and maybe even more. This link is in this thing. There, I closed off the opening segment.
There you go. James, James! I know
Yes,
I have
Kelly.
a shitty microphone right now, but I'm just very excited to see you. How are you? What's going on? What's
I'm gonna
new?
use the magic of microphone technology to capture a sample of that background hiss and see if I can make it go away from the entire
It's
tape.
great.
We'll see.
It's great. Let's do 30 seconds of silence. Ready, go.
Oh, you don't worry. Every time I talk, your track has silence on it. I don't think we have to burden our audience with 30 seconds of uniform silence.
I just want the audience to understand how long 30 seconds feels.
Oh,
Many
that's
people
just-
underestimate that.
That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, this is not the forum to do it and not the place. So, all right, to bring you up to speed where we are. First of all, I took a week off of work to deal with the move. So there's that. We are also dealing with the fact that as we are moving, we are updating the place that we're moving from to flip to sell. Right now, there are boxes upon boxes upon boxes of stuff that needs to be unpacked. However, we can't move forward with unpacking because the contractor we're working with has stopped work here in order to focus on work on the other place to paint, to spruce up, to flip. So we have to wait. And it's been years, James. It's been years since I've had to do something like that where I can't fully nest. I can't fully spread out. So I'm having to compromise, to be creative. And I'm not saying this is any hardship by any means. I'm fortunate enough to have a roof over my head, food on the table, etc. But when the majority of your stuff is packed into boxes and you don't know where it is, and all I've packed was what I called the bug out bag, and I've explained to the husband and the kids the day before the packers were there, pack your bug out bag. They're
Right.
like, what
And
do you mean?
honestly, once you get into the new home, your bug out bag is not as useful as you think it would be because you don't need a passport or a gun or a stocking
No,
to wear over your head
no,
in a new
no.
house. That bag is
It's
really for an entirely different kind of
it's a little
emergency.
awkward. I get it. However, there are medications.
So,
There's toothbrush.
exactly.
There's
You
toothpaste.
take all the medicine in the bag, you carry the gun just in
Yeah,
case, but you're
just in
waiting
case.
for the moment when you can unpack the
Right.
boxes. I know
Right.
the feeling.
Exactly. Yeah. So the message was lost in translation to the people in my family of make sure your bug out bag is packed before the packers come, because the complaints have been long and laborious of they packed this and they packed this, and I said, didn't I tell you before they showed up that you needed to pack this? But who am I? Who am I? I
You
don't
are
know these things.
someone who, at some point in your life, learned the lesson that your family members are learning now. That's all. We're all just at a different part in our cycle, and they need to internalize the bug out bag in a way that clearly simply telling them did not affect.
It didn't affect, but I guess what my frustration is and where my confession and my upset stress dumping is happening right here on the show. And thank you folks for providing the space for me to do this. Is like I told you. I can't tell you how many times I've told you. Pack the bag before the packers are here. It's like I didn't understand what you meant. It's like how? Okay, whatever.
And I'm right
Anyway,
there with you, Kelly. There's nothing more cathartic than stress dumping.
it's I had Mexican food yesterday, and that happened.
That
However,
that will happen again. That's right. That's
let me let me tell you, moving to this new area, first of all, there's some really lovely pluses. So, plus number one, the lack of road traffic noise, the lack of sirens as far as police, fire, etc., emergency, the lack of that. It's nice and quiet. Two, the neighbors are super nice. Everybody's been like, welcome to the neighborhood, we're glad you're here, etc. And three, when I have to drive the kids to the bus stop early in the morning, it's quite lovely to see the light on the lake. The lake is about 2 blocks from us.
oh
So
yeah.
I get to drive around the lake and see that. I'm like, okay, this is worth it. So it's not all bad.
And how
But
far is it to the nearest Mexican restaurant from your new home?
it's not far at all. This particular neighborhood has a large population of Mexican families. So the nearest Mexican restaurant is maybe a mile and a half, if
Because
that.
that's one of the three, they say location, location, location when you're
Right.
shopping for real estate, but there's also a thing they call DTM or DGGM, which is distance to Mexican food or
Oh,
distance to good Mexican food. It's
okay.
it's it's the number four most important thing. That's why I'm shopping for my next home in Puerto Vallarta.
You are going to have some great Mexican food in Puerto Vallarta. I promise you that.
I got on some mailing list. I don't even know how. Like I poke around on Zillow from time to time and I must have poked a little too far because now once a week I get an update specifically for Puerto Vallarta, and I have no specific knowledge or interest in that place, but somehow they have developed an interest in me. I've seen some pictures of some very lovely condos at very reasonable prices
You
down there.
know,
So
Puerto Vallarta is the place that Rich and I love to go to travel. And I can completely and freely and comfortably admit that I had tacos al pastor that were life changing in Puerto Vallarta. And that was at 2 in the morning after a show let out that we were watching. And it was a little street cart called not Hermosa, it was Hermoga. I think it was the ant. I'm so sorry, folks who speak Spanish, because
Sabor del Cangrejo. I'm familiar.
My Spanish is muy mal. But this particular cart, it was amazing. You had fresh horchata, you had fresh hibiscus tea, and then you had tacos al pastor, and you would just hold up your fingers. Do you want two, three, four? And they would just little tiny street. They were the best things ever. It was life changing to the point where every day when Rich and I woke up on this vacation, we're like, let's go get tacos from that truck because that's how good it was. So I
So if
advise
they're going to
you.
make a movie of your life, they're going to focus a lot of attention on this one scene when your
Yeah.
life
Well,
changed direction, where you got your signature blaster and your signature jacket and the name everyone calls you all at this one taco truck at 2
exactly.
a.m.
Exactly. 2 a.m. and you got your belly filled with tacos al pastor. What a beautiful, beautiful vision
That's a
that is.
beautiful story. You're going to have to take me to this taco truck someday.
I am happy. I know that you have traveled to Mexico, but you said you've never been to Puerto Vallarta.
I have not. I can't even picture it in my head except miscellaneous small condos and their floor plans.
No, time to go. Time to go. And speaking of time to go, let's take a break. God, where is it? I am so discombobulated, James. I'm sorry. Here we go. This episode of Here All Week is brought to you by Rekindle, the romance experts.
Hey, hun, it's date night. What should we do this time?
I don't know. Same old stuff?
Yeah, I guess so.
Folks, is your committed long-term relationship transforming into a total drag?
Do your date nights lack the spark of younger days?
Have your romantic candlelight dinners and walks in the summer rain been replaced by tedious evenings of staring into the darkness?
Nope. Of.
Oh, I missed a word. Okay.
It's
do
not
the
in
whole-
there. I just
do the-
added it again.
Okay. Have your romantic candlelight dinners and walks in the summer rain been replaced by tedious evenings of staring into the darkness of another's tortured soul?
Then maybe it's time for Rekindle, the romance experts.
The relationgineers at Rekindle can light your flame with inspiring new ideas.
I just spoke with an operator at Rekindle. Tomorrow I'm going to surprise my committed long-term partner with a fresh basket of deli meats.
My operator's name is Derek, and he likes dogs and France almost as much as I do.
Folks, everyone knows that love fades with time.
It sure does. The clumsy giggling of infatuated teenagers slowly gives way to the quiet, disappointed mumblings of cynical middle age.
But now that I've joined Rekindle's Sweet Nothings program, I'll receive a mystery box each week full of entertaining items and suggestions.
Sometimes Derek from Rekindle reaches out to me just to make sure I'm doing okay.
The Sweet Nothings boxes have fresh flowers, scented candles, massage oils, and everything else I need to get back on track.
I'll say, and every time I speak to Derek, I come away with new ideas for a steamy date night.
This week's box has heated socks, a cozy electric mini fireplace, and a little red booklet about the history of condoms.
And Derek sends me the cutest little animal pictures on Signal.
All of the operators at Rekindle are courteous and well-informed.
Derek understands me. He knows what I'm going through.
This week, check out Rekindle's new hazelnut morning blend made with the finest Arabica coffee.
Oh, Derek loves coffee, especially when he can drink it without staring blankly across the breakfast table into the eyes of someone he doesn't even know anymore.
And if you like walking, check out these cool squeaky shoes from Rekindle with wheels in the heels.
Can this be love? Can hope be real in this troubled world? All I want to hear is Derek's voice again.
That's right, sometimes we just need to speak with a caring professional who is familiar with the challenges and rewards of long-term commitment.
Derek and I might not have all the answers, but we will face the world together, one steamy night at a time.
Sounds great. So rekindle your spark today with Rekindle.
That's Rekindle, the relationship experts.
They also do steaks.
Who is this Derek you speak?
Got a lot of really nice, they got these cool packages, boxes of stuff.
Heated socks?
Heated socks.
All I wanted is a hot foot.
I wonder what heated socks is. I don't even know if that's a thing. It seems like you
don't
got
even know.
Electric cords popping out of your shoes.
Who wants a hot foot? Do you want a hot foot? Get a hot foot.
I when I get out of bed on a cold morning, I would like some heated socks. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. Do you have heated floors in your house at all?
No, No,
Okay.
no such thing. We have very little climate control. There is only one. Well, of course we have heat. We have gas tank. We have not propane. We have natural. I don't know what kind of gas it is. The kind of gas they put in a big tank inside your yard. You know that kind of
That's
gas.
propane.
We're not on the gas line of the neighborhood because this house is newer than the rest of the neighborhood, and
Oh, wow.
no one who's ever lived here has wanted to pony up, including us, to run that gas line another 50 feet or whatever to get it to our house. So we have a propane tank buried in the yard, and we that satisfies our heat needs. But as the summers get hotter and hotter, we did finally last summer buy air conditioning for one room. That one
Okay.
room is Carol's office. The rest of the house is still going to be 110.
Okay. So your air conditioning you purchased was one of those room coolers you can move from room to room and just put
I,
the thing in
you
the
know, it never
window?
occurred to me that we could move it from room to
Yeah,
room, but the room
you
it's
can.
been in is Carol's office, and when the weather gets hot, the pets are also relocated to her
Right.
floor so they can enjoy the coolness of a summer day.
You know, last year was brutal. Last year there was a week here, if folks don't remember. I certainly remember that it was 115 for like 5 days straight. It was really hot. And fortunately, Rich and I had two coolers, air AC units in the primary suite and the kids' room. And so we called those the cooling rooms. And literally for that week is where we took our laptops, is where we ate our meals in those bedrooms because it was so hot. Now, I'm worried that this year is going to happen again, that we're going to see that same heat wave again. But I've been following up on different meteorologist forecast blogs, and the majority of them are saying it's like a 1 in a 10 year, 1 in a 15 year event. They don't see it getting that hot again. Maybe 80, 90, but not up to 115. So,
Well, it only seems impossible until it happens. We have more and more unusual weather events every year and every decade, but I should hope that the
I should
armchair
hope.
scientists are right and that, oh, you know, weather is just unpredictable. You can't know what's
You know,
happening
here's
out
the
there.
fascinating thing about meteorology is literally when I look into it, it's more like fortune telling. And I've heard that from a couple of really well known meteorologists, like Cliff Mass, for example. He's like, we really don't know what's going to, we're just basing it on
Yeah,
theories.
well, unfortunately, in retrospect, in hindsight, all of whatever is currently the modern science tends to look a lot like fortune telling. Modern medicine is a lot like fortune telling now, too, but it's the best we can do.
It's what we got.
Oh well. I think the best we can do is hope, is sit in our hot basements and hope that it won't get as damn hot this year as it did last year. You know, last year I went from the heat of Seattle. We did escape it by going out to Ocean Shores and luckily picked up a sponsor during that
Yes.
Candy
Yeah.
Sand Beach.
Yeah.
But then I popped right out of this frying pan and down into the fire in Las Vegas when it got up to like 121 or something.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was Death Valley large down there last summer.
Well, I remember when you took the trip down to Ocean Shores, it was also during all the smoke of the wildfires. So it was smoky as well for you heading down there, if I remember correctly. Am I remembering the right years, or was it
I
just,
don't know. Our listeners are going to have to listen
I
back
don't
to
know.
those
Listen
joyous
back,
episodes of the
folks.
heat of last summer.
Folks, every day runs into each other like a milky, cloudy, watery dream. And we're
My
just
memories
here.
are like boxes packed by strangers sitting in a new large house.
Oh, oh, that's true. It's like Christmas, James, opening a box and go, wow, I didn't even know I had this. It's so exciting.
That's right. Every container in your house is a present you bought for yourself.
Like my husband said, previous you knew future you would love this item. It's like, thank you so much for thinking of me, past me.
Yeah, past me is not so gracious. I keep running across bundles of unknown printer cables and power supplies, and then one monitor that I actually want to plug in and have no idea where the power supply went
Oh,
to.
okay, great. That's great. So, a couple of the pluses here is that we had a heat pump installed. So we've never lived in a place that had quote unquote what's called central air or heat pump
Yeah.
air. So we're able to climate control, which is great. I'm very thankful for that. We have a 2-car side by side garage where our previous garage was a tandem, so one in front of the other kind of thing. And then we have a backyard for the dogs. So the dogs are loving it. No matter,
Yeah.
they're absolutely nuts. And they're sleeping better. They're not fighting with each other as much. So I'm really thankful for all the hard work and the process it took to get us here. And I'm really grateful that we have this opportunity to do this. I realize that other people, many people don't have this opportunity. So we've been super grateful. On that note, James, what's coming up this week for you?
Well, I've been on the road for a while, so this week digging my fingers back into those workly duties that I can only do here, and also probably spending some time in the wood shop if the weather is nice. Carol has a project that requires me to rip some boards down for her. She's putting new base molding all around the bedroom, and so that's going to happen. And then I've been making cutting boards out of all this very expensive scrap lumber that's been sitting in my basement. I thought, oh, it's worth a lot of money. I should cut it up and make it into cutting boards. And then my kitchen will be full of cutting boards I don't need. So that's my plan.
You know, I believe you will become the king of charcuterie with your
Yes.
boards.
That's right. I'll give for Christmas. I'll give everyone a cutting board covered in meat.
Charcuterie. Would you like some charcuterie on my cutting board? I just like saying charcuterie.
Is there shark? Is there shark meat in charcuterie, or why
Nope,
is it
nope.
called what it is?
Nope, there are no sharks involved nor harmed in the making of charcuterie.
Okay, it's time for our interrupting segment in media res where we
Yes.
talk about the TV we're watching because you just reminded me of the silliest thing I saw
Okay.
this week.
All right.
Literally the following line. And I think it must have been in Obi-Wan. I think that's what we were watching. And someone said, I can't believe we're kidnapping kids.
It's,
And I was like,
it's in the
it's
name.
called kidnapping. It's like a
It's-
grilled cheese sandwich. The recipe is in the title.
It's
How
in
can
the
you not
name.
know?
It's
Right.
in the name.
So yeah, that's what you do when you kidnap. You nap
So,
kids.
so tell me, you've been in this business for a long time. What exactly does kidnapping entail? Is it
Oh
with
yeah, well
kids?
yeah. Usually you take an adult and you help them get to sleep. That's what I've learned about it.
Oh, fantastic. So, how does the word kidnapping apply to this job?
Oh, you can also do it to baby goats.
Oh, fantastic. Great. So, I will be taking baby goats from one place to another. Is that correct?
And helping them go to sleep.
God. Kidnapping, grilled cheese,
Can't
Caesar
believe we're kidnapping
salad.
kids. I can't believe we're kidnapping kids. I
Caesar
don't know.
salad.
I honestly, I think the show is entertaining. I think the third episode of Kenobi has come out, or Obi-Wan, or whatever it's called.
It's
And
enjoyable. I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
it's lightweight. It's funny, and
Yeah.
all the people online who are complaining about miscellaneous nothings
Whatever.
don't seem to have ever seen Star Wars. Like this
Whatever.
it's Star Wars. It's
The
full of
whole-
silliness.
The whole dust up of a black character being involved. It's like, really? This is what's bothering you in your life?
I don't buy
That.
that. I mean, when they could be complaining about an entire, stormtrooper base that's guarded by a little electric fence that you could just walk around.
Sure.
Do you
Sure.
remember what I'm talking about? There's this little
Yes.
red fence. Yeah, and one of the stormtroopers dies by falling across it and being
Across
cut in
it.
half.
Sure.
Which only defeats my only possible theory about how that thing worked, which was that there was a force field everywhere else, and clearly there was not a force field everywhere else, or that stormtrooper couldn't have been standing there. So yeah,
that,
it's just
that fence.
ugh.
That fence had so much less security than the shitty, scrappy fence that they built in the City of the Dead movie, which was
It's like
scraps
a,
of
a
it's-
door door frame standing in
It's
the middle of
awful.
the desert.
It's awful. And so, yes. So people won't bitch about that, but they will bitch about a black character being on a show. Do better.
They'll
Do
bitch
better.
about the gate. They'll also bitch about the gate.
Do
but I
better,
mean,
people. This week, of course, I am back onto the work wagon, so I do go into work a couple days a week. So since we're recording today on a Tuesday of this week, I go back to work tomorrow. But it's a mountain of boxes, and every box opened is a treasure I am rediscovering. it is a mix of feelings, folks. It's a mix of, oh, I forgot about this, and why did I pack this? So I am going through those motions right now. So yeah, but we're donating a lot. I am able to share the resources of empty moving boxes and packing paper with people in the neighborhood who are moving, which is great. So it doesn't go into a landfill, so they can use it. But that's where we are right now. And tonight,
I hope you will take pictures as you experience this so we can share a new feature on the program, Kelly's Unboxing, or the Magic of Discovery.
Kelly's box. Look inside.
Very carefully. As we speak very carefully and choose our words with caution.
Come look inside Kelly's box.
What is discovered in your moving crates?
You're welcome. Anyway, I haven't found the majority of my pots and pans nor my baking sheets, so we are able to sample many of the restaurants in the area. And I should say tonight we had a lovely Southern style fried chicken dinner from a place called Heavenly Fried Chicken out of Everett. Delicious. Mm-hmm. So fried chicken, cornbread, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, and homemade rolls. Delicious.
Are you sure it's not Heaven Sent fried chicken?
No, it's Heavenly Fried Chicken.
Heavenly, okay. Because Heaven Sent is another, it's a chain up in my neighborhood.
Well, then you are probably correct. Rich, what is it? It's Heaven Sent. Thanks. I have been corrected.
That's run by the fellow who used to own Azel's Fried Chicken. Azel himself sold the franchise and the name, and so started a new franchise called Heaven Sent.
It is Heaven Sent, and we enjoyed it. And even my kid was like, "Is this Azel's chicken?" And I'm like, "No." But now
basically it is. Yeah.
It is, but I didn't know that the previous owner of Azel's owns this. So thank you for. And Azel's, by the way, for our listeners, is Oprah's favorite chicken. So she has yet to discover Heaven Sent. So anyway, we enjoyed Heaven Sent chicken dinner tonight, which was delicious.
Well, now I know what I want for dinner.
Well, great. If there's one near you, by all means, order.
It's near enough.
Okay. Folks, as always, thank you for joining the chaos of this show. I know that we have taken a little bit of a break while I figure out where I'm going in this world as far as to drop boxes down. But again, thanks for the ride. Thanks for sticking in. If you have questions, comments, topics, etc., just to let us know how you think the show is doing, directions, you can say, knock it off, you guys suck, virtual tomato, whatever you want to say. We're open to the comments. Like and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube. You can see our shows on YouTube here all week with Kelly and James. You can become a Patreon of the show. There are tiers of payment in regards to just to pay us to keep this stuff going because we're paying it out of pocket. And we would appreciate it if you want to become part of our Baker's Dozens. We have 10, I believe, in our Baker's Dozen. So we need 13 to get to that number, that magical number.
Kelly, we need 10. We have 3.
Okay, we have 3. Oh my God, I got that way backwards. We have 3. We need 10 more. Thank you. So be one of those 10s of the Baker's Dozen. Anyway, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family. Be kind to your friends. Be kind to your neighbors. Be kind to your community, because we are all going through it. As always, your time is precious. Thank you for spending it with us. My name is Kelly Wright.
And I'm James Ernest, and we're somewhere all week.
Somewhere.